Today in the crypto space, we see the market getting a bit of relief to the upside. Bitcoin up approximately 2%, 60,900 give or take. Ethereum right above that $2,500 mark, also up approximately 2%. The rest of the crypto space, these altcoins, a mix of green and red. Of course, do we expect it to get a continuation to the upside in the immediate short term? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that is showing good horizontal support at the bottom of the range, and that project is called QUBIC. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Again, market cap slightly coming down. We did get a bit of relief to the upside in the last little bit. Nice, good volume, nice, good price, market cap rise right into here, but the volume coming down. Not a good look. You know, when we see some strength in market cap or even in price on an asset or anything, we want to see volume and correlation. We want to see strength in the volume. So, you know, not a good look at the current moment. Obviously, any relief is welcome here in the space. In the last little while, we have been seeing a bit of a retracement, and any relief is welcome. But in order to really get bullish here, we want to see the volume kick in, and we want to see a continuation to the upside. So this is what we got to be waiting for. Is volume actually going to start pouring in while we see the market cap rise? Bullish confirmation to the upside, and that could happen any second. If you recall what happened last week, during the weekend, when we did see that rally up, we did all of a sudden see volume kick in and basically invalidate this divergence that we're seeing. We're seeing market cap rise while volume is coming down. It's not a good look, obviously, but it can totally become invalidated by volume kicking in and making a higher high. All right, so let's begin. Let's see what's going down with some of these altcoins. Bitcoin, you know, getting relief. Ethereum getting relief, and a lot of altcoins have been getting a relief in the last 24 hours or so, and that's a really good sign for the market. Is it enough to suggest a reversal? My opinion, obviously, guys, not financial advice, it is not enough. However, you never know. It could definitely do it. And the reason why I say you never know is because if it breaks above horizontal levels, and I am seeing it across the market, including even Bitcoin, it's currently battling a horizontal level. As soon as we see those horizontals break and maybe even backtest, it could change really, really quickly. As of now, it could be just a dead cat bounce. I get it. But once we start seeing TA respect horizontal levels and start bringing in a bit of volume and start, you know, back testing previous breakout zones on lower time frames, we could definitely see this relief turn into something that is much, much bigger. So it's very important to always be very critical about, you know, what the price action is trying to create or paint on the chart, but also be prepared for both case scenarios. We hope for the best and prepare for the worst, of course, but as we see, things are looking okay. We're getting a bit of relief to the upside. Is it possible that we come back down for a double bottom? Of course, that is also very possible. Could we come down for another lower low? Yes, that is also very possible. But the case is at the current moment that we are getting relief, and there's some altcoins at the current moment that are up 3-4%, if not more, on some cases. So this is what we have to understand. We got to take full opportunity. For example, IMX. Okay, even though the market has been dipping, really, what happened to the IMX chart? Nothing. It went sideways pretty much. It got a bit of a dip, and it came right back. Right now, it's back to previous highs, looking for a breakout. So that's a sign of strength. And as we keep on going down, you can see that there are some altcoins still showing strength. Render's not doing too bad, even though we got negativity in the market. Didn't come down too hard, so it's doing pretty good. And then we're getting a bit of relief across the market. Floki, beastly. Look at this thing, just going sideways like it doesn't even care. Doing great. Obviously, looking for a breakout. Maybe becomes a bull flag. That's very possible. Thorchain Rune, guys, if you missed out on my video yesterday on Thorchain, the setup was epic because it did exactly what I just explained. It broke above horizontal. It backtested the horizontal and use it as support, and it is currently working on a spring to the upside. Now, I don't know if it's going to come down again to test those previous lows, but what we can say currently is that Thorchain is respecting horizontals, and based on that idea, we could definitely get into setups that have a good risk to reward ratio. Horizontals hold support, and if they don't, you get out. Thorchain Rune right now from yesterday's call is up approximately 7%, if not more. So this is a great scenario right now. Today, just today, it's up 6%. So we're doing pretty good here on Thorchain Rune from its bottom. Doing pretty good. What else do we have? Helium HNT doing also very, very well. You can see a nice bull flag into this level, and then obviously continuation to the upside. I remember last night talking about Helium very briefly live and basically laughing at the fact that it was doing a fat bull flag and all of a sudden it's breaking out. This is what I'm saying, guys. If you see horizontals and you see good levels of horizontal structure, those are great times to potentially create a plan, to have a setup in preparation for continuation. And this is what I'm trying to say. Now, so a lot of these altcoins are currently at the bottom of the range, trying to find their support zones. We have KuCoin getting a bit of a bounce. You know, I'm keeping an eye on these exchange tokens based on that thesis that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Basically, if we see exchange tokens do very well, that should give us an indication that the market is getting bullish, that there are individuals getting on exchanges and wanting to get rewarded for holding these exchange tokens. It should be a correlation to, you know, who's getting involved in the space, right? So this is what I'm focusing on exchange tokens as well. Gates getting a nice bounce, that's not bad, and then we're getting relief. You know, that's basically what the whole thing is right now in the market. There's a lot of relief, some getting more than others. Look at Flare, nice 12% almost to the upside in the last 24 hours. That's really, really good, and the market is looking okay today, definitely looking okay. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about QUBIC. Of course, that's the altcoin that I want to give a bit of attention to today, but not before we take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin continues to disrespect horizontals at all opportunities. And as you can see, it disrespected the 200 and also the horizontal levels that we've been tracking here in the last little while. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. What's interesting here is that Bitcoin right now doesn't care. Right? It doesn't care. It's doing its own thing. And that's the time where you got to realize that you don't want to get involved. You shouldn't want to be involved here in Bitcoin. Yeah, if you have your spot positions filled, great. Congrats, you're in. Now, if you feel compelled, if you're new to the space and you want to be buying in on spot, sure, that's not a problem, because you just have to have a long-term approach. Now, I do feel that the altcoin season, the bull run is going to continue. Bitcoin is going to continue going up. I don't think it's going to go up a significant amount, maybe 100, 120. At best case, maybe 150. We double from here. That's really good. But ultimately, what's happening into this Bitcoin price is that it's creating a structure that suggests continuation. And in the meantime, what we're doing is getting very, very confident in the altcoin market, seeing projects like Cadena, another video that I covered, another project that I covered a couple of days ago, up approximately 6% today. Rune right now 6.5% as we speak. So Ondo, another one that's been, you know, on the watch list for the last little while, is up 3%. So we're getting a little bit of, you know, green price action today as forms of relief, as Bitcoin is also getting a bit of relief. Recall the price action in the last 24, 48 hours. We have been coming down. There's been a bit of fear in the market. And I kept on coming out and saying, guys, we didn't even make a lower low. Chill out. Reality is, on the daily, we didn't come down lower than this low. We're still doing good. We're still okay. We're making higher highs and higher lows. It does look like a retractive pattern. As you can see, A, B, C, corrective move. Now, do we come down for an impulsive move and come down here? Possible. Let's prepare for the worst. But what about the best case? The best case scenario is that we continue disrespecting TA the way we've been doing it here, the way we've done it right here, and the way we could be possibly be doing it right into here, and eventually break out to the upside as this structure, which is a descending wedge, should. Statistically speaking, it should. There's a high probability of it breaking out bullish, and I am preparing for that scenario. Look what happened here. We are definitely kind of breaking down below the horizontal support. And I remember the days of where we were doing this analysis. A lot of people on, and a lot of analysts were already talking about a bull flag. And that sentiment of bull flag is still there, even though it's a descending wedge. This is why it's a valid level to watch, this horizontals, because that's the original sentiment of the structure was a bull flag. And that can be seen based on the empty volume gap. There's not a lot of participation at these bottoms as we see weakness, meaning that there are some people that are still emotional about this bull flag, this horizontal. And this is why I'm keeping it very, evident, and at the same time keeping an eye on how it gets disrespected. Swing failure pattern comes down, gets back above, and springs. Swing failure pattern, in fact, it comes down below the horizontal, below the 200 daily, totally disrespecting it, comes back up, and definitely goes for another bounce to the upside. Considering the fact that we're in a range, I think a lot of individuals felt comfortable suggesting that we're going to come back to the top of the range again. Now, what's going to happen here? Are we going to make another lower high? It does look like it's a lower high at the current moment, but at any moment we could also invalidate all of this and get to higher levels and start breaking out for the actual continuation of this bullish pattern. This is a bullish pattern, guys, so we got to prepare. Now, for me personally, guys, as I mentioned, Bitcoin is not where I'm interested at the current moment. It's all about the altcoins. There has to be some opportunity for altcoins to catch up. And with that being said, when we start to see Bitcoin range sideways, which is very, very clear at the current moment that Bitcoin is going sideways, we should see Ethereum, we should see the altcoins do very well. We need to see the Bitcoin dominance fall. We need to see a lot of good things here for the market to get bullish as far as altcoins. Good news is that Bitcoin is above the $60,500 mark. For me, that's a good level to get above. Obviously, there's a little bit of work because in this zone, if you kind of zoom in, you can see a lot of little tops. If you get on the 4 hour, you can probably see this in a little bit more detail. With the fact is that there are some tops that we got to deal with, which means that maybe a little bit more, maybe at about 61,300, 61,500. That's where things start to get a little bit interesting, because really we start breaking free of these previous tops. We start dealing with this high, and if we make a higher high, guys, the trend is your friend. We're continuing to the upside, and after this high gets broken, it's likely that individuals start looking for a move to about 69, 70,000. Right? And if that happens, guys, and we start showing strength up at that level, believe me, the FOMO will kick in, and it's not going to necessarily kick in only on Bitcoin. We're going to see the altcoins fly, and the reason being is that people know that altcoins, in compared to Bitcoin, are severely undervalued, and there's a lot more opportunity in those gains on altcoins than there are on Bitcoin. Like I said, if Bitcoin hits 150, fine, we get 2 to 3x, we're good. Of course, we're happy about that. However, if altcoins start getting their season, you can see 10, 20, 30, up to 100x on some of those micro cap altcoins. And that is where the life-changing gains come. So we really have to understand the OGs in the space that know that is going to happen and know that that's what our altcoin season brings. They're going to be deploying capital into those opportunities. All right, guys. So Bitcoin is doing great. It's in our favor. We have Ethereum doing pretty good. Join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. We'll talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance. And it's a great time and place for you guys to make requests on any projects you want me to cover, any projects that you want me to do any TA on. Feel free to join and I'll put them in top priority. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at QUBIC. What's going on with QUBIC? Guys, I like the way QUBIC looks right at the current moment. Yeah, it's risky. I know, I'm a degen. I like a bit of risk here and there. But the reality is the structure is playable. And why I say that is because it's going sideways finally, right? We've been making lower lows and lower highs. And one might argue, but Mike, we went kind of sideways right into here with a slightly lower low. Okay, fine. Let's call it sideways. Okay, let's just, for argument purposes, let's call it sideways. And we went and we got a bit of a structure. Maybe we got bullish divergence here. Okay, fine. Let's make that true. And it got invalidated. This is why it's important to analyze and basically have your invalidation very clearly, because you could have stopped yourself out here. You could even have stopped yourself out on the back test. You could have done whatever you had to do to defend yourself if you got into a long position here, no doubt. Now we're back here after some whipsaw, straight down, straight up price action. Both longs and shorts get wrecked into this. And this is usually a good indication to me that it's becoming safer to get in without emotional individuals. They got all flushed out and wiped out of the market, including individuals that may have gotten in with a bit of leverage and over leveraged positions, if there is leverage available to QUBIC. Then we're down here again. Then we're back down here, right? Emotions have been wiped out. There's a little bit of emotions that got into here that might be still holding the bag, the red bag. And now we're going sideways here. The difference between what's happening here and here is that we're making higher lows. And the difference between here and here is a few months. And in a few months, we slowly shift sentiment. You know, at any given point, we should see the altcoin season. And at any given point, we should, as we continue going down, statistically speaking, we start to build a greater comfort level that the altcoin season is coming, right? So we need to prepare for it. And I see a good level of horizontal right into the zone. So let's see what's going on here with oscillator. Now, oscillator is obviously a secondary thing. We need to focus on price action, so we'll get back there in a second. But the reason why I want to bring up oscillator first is because they're so clear, right? We see lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum, slowly shifting up, both expansions in the background. The red expansions are looking great. We have the momentum line, the purple line, also trekking to the upside very nicely. And if you follow volatility, which is the orange line, it definitely goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And each time it comes down, you notice that the dips are not as deep. In fact, the last dip where volatility went from overbought to oversold, which we are right now, it didn't even make a lower low, guys. So that's a sign that the bears are showing weakness. In fact, it's starting to look like the follow-through might be coming into fruition. We might just see a break of the previous highs and get some real hype into this and start seeing this thing move. Now, if you go onto the trend oscillator as well, starting to look really good. We got 2 drives of bullish divergence just right into here. It tried to invalidate in the whipsaw section, which of course everybody gets wrecked into this level. We talked about that already. But we're still getting multiple drives of bullish divergence as the price is coming down, stemming from back here, divergence, and we're seeing the EMA slowly trying to get into the bullish control zone, which is above the halfway mark of the oscillator. So we see the EMA slowly trying to push to the upside, which is a good signal that we're going to see the bulls basically take control of the market in the next little while. It could be a slow and steady grind. We can see the purple oscillator definitely expanding to the upside, which is really good, and an example of where we should see the bulls show some strength. We've seen bears show a lot of strength here, but bit by bit, as you know, the price action unfolds and comes down, we are seeing the expansions getting weaker and weaker. So that's class A bullish divergence, guys. The divergence on both momentum and trend oscillators can't be clear. Okay, but that's not enough. Unfortunately, it's not enough. It's a great confluence, no doubt. You know, should get you a bit interested here, no doubt. But this is why I put a dotted line here. And I had this dotted line in here for a good while because it's a line where I want to see what could be built. I want to see it's not solid. I am not solid, but as time comes, especially right now, I'm getting a lot more confident here. You got to admit, we're making a little bit of a retracement here. We could come down for another dip. We tried that dip. It didn't happen. Personally speaking, I'm deploying a bit of capital into this zone because really this is a good level to expect a recovery or a nice bounce to the upside. And if you look at it, you know, where it's coming from, it's still in pretty much in a range where there's a lot of market participation. And of course, yeah, people are going to say, well, this is sell pressure. You can see, you know, the price keeps on falling as we're getting volume even into here. This is not fair because it was whipsaw. And then right into here, you know, we're getting a decreased amount of volume. And we know when volume decreases and gets tight that way, it's preparing for an expansion. It's preparing for an expansion. So is the expansion going to be one to the downside, or is it finally going to be one where we start to see a reversal and we start to see this market trending to the upside? And given that from a transitionary perspective, transitioning from bearish, you know, again, bearish to bullish, we go through a phase usually of a good amount of sideways, whether it be creating a structure that is an inverse head and shoulder, a cup and handle, Adam and Eve pattern, W formations, whatever the case. Those transitionary phases gives us structures that kind of go sideways where we can put a stop loss under. And that's where the risk to reward ratio gets a lot better. And guess what, guys? Right now, where we are, I feel like this is good, looking pretty good. Yeah, we could come down for another double bottom. We could come down and test and fill this wick. It could be very possible. And you know, wicks, a lot of the times they do come down and the price does come down and fill up those wicks, that area, or retest the wick area. But sometimes they don't, guys. Sometimes they don't. And that's what's called a blow off top, or that's, you know, a hammer or something like that. Unfortunately, this is not a hammer. I'm just saying that it looks looks like we're getting a slow rounded off type of price action, which is a sign of accumulation, especially once we start to see the shift from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. Now, I know this wick, let's kind of zoom in. In fact, let's get onto the 4-hour real quick. This high right here didn't break above this high, right? So technically it's a lower high. Now this low right down here is slightly higher than this one, but let's say it's a double bottom. Okay, let's just entertain a double bottom so that we can be as modest, but it is a slightly higher high. But whatever, let's make it sideways. At the end of the day, we're in a very tight range, which makes it very ideal and easy to kind of plan out what we got to do next. And I feel like ultimately this should break. If we break the previous high, we're going to start testing this high. If we break this previous high, we're going to start breaking through volume gaps and empty spaces. And what I like about this is that we already got our impulse. We're kind of going W right into this level, and it's starting to look like an Adam and Eve pattern on the 4-hour. So you got a nice V recovery right into here. Nice V recovery and a nice rounded bottom right into here. Now we're coming down for a back test confirmation, double bottom. Maybe we get a nice V recovery right into this level as well, and we get a nice double bottom also, and we start looking for a level of a break. We need to break above multiple zeros, 1962 on the 4-hour, and things start to look a lot better for QUBIC, and we start to build confirmations that we're getting that reversal. Now if you get back onto the daily, you can see what I mean here based on even the volume gap, based on this empty space that we have, this little weak spot. It is an opportunity, guys, and believe me, when this happens, people will start FOMOing in. People will also expect a back test, which is totally fine. You get a nice confirmation, you can deploy a little bit more and then continue. Just keep in mind that the third impulsive move, this is maybe an A, or this is a 1, 2, 3. The third one should be the biggest. So the next impulsive move to the upside should be the largest based on Elliott wave theory. Okay, and if it is this whole structure that is being built on the daily here at the bottom, again, 1, 2, and then the third one should be the biggest. If it is the biggest, this is considered an impulsive move, and we should get a massive rally up. Okay, and that's what we're really looking for, is a recovery. So I am deploying capital here at the bottom, anticipating that invalidation is at these dots right here. If we start coming down to these levels, guys, I would be happy to basically cut my losses and wait for the structure to build. We could still come down and make that wick down here and still come back down and swing failure it and basically spring off of this horizontal. All of that is very, very possible, guys, but it's okay to have a big picture strategy to accumulate as it does go sideways and build that, pivot point that we're looking for. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. See you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.